Now wipe that shit off your face.
All right, welcome back, JCW fans. I am Kendo, and this is Lunacy Recap Review. In this video, I'm going to be going over Lunacy number 83, The Assault, which aired May 21st, 2026. This episode featured Joe Dombrowski and Mark Roberts on commentary. The ring announcer was Kid Cadet. Before I jump into this video, if you could please hit that like button and the subscribe button. Helps get this video out to more people. With that being said, we got a long way ahead of us, so let's jump right into it. All right, in the opening segment, we have Caleb Conley, and he is pissed off with the Violent J. You know, he says this 3 weeks or 4 weeks of hell, excuse me, is bullshit. And it's, you know, it's not fair that he doesn't know his opponent. Vince Russo comes in, and basically Vince Russo and Violent J argue back and forth about how they've basically just been doing stuff behind the other person's back, you know, basically with Violent J signing EC3 and the Green Phantom and stuff like that, and Vince Russo basically creating future endeavors, bringing Matt Cross back and bringing in Choppa City and stuff like that. So they basically just bicker back and forth for a little while. Basically ends with Russo saying, look, you know, we might be friends, but at the end of the day, I'm a New Yorker. Violent J quickly cuts him off and says, you know, I'm a juggalo and juggalos are worldwide. And basically you better watch your ass because you don't know what type of games that the juggalos can play. Russo just ends up getting pissed off at Violent J, and basically he just ends up storming off. All right, in the opening contest, it's kind of interesting one here. It's going to be Big Al Alice Crawley, and she will be taking on J-Rod for the women's title. Danny Moe is going to do some commentary during this match. Now, as I said, this match is interesting. The outcome of it is debatable, to say the least. But it was a good match. Both ladies got a little bit of stuff in. I mean, obviously they're going to have J-Rod dominate for the most part, which she does. But Big Al does get some stuff in, you know, and it is a good match. Actually, both of the females' matches in this episode are really good. I think the next one's a little bit better, but we'll get to that. Big Al there with a nice knee. Only gets a 2 count. Referee ends up getting knocked out. J-Rod delivers a big old spear, no ref to count it, but the return of Sophia Rose. But to everybody's surprise, Sophia Rose ends up turning on J-Rod, and conveniently enough, the ref wakes up, counts to 1, 2, flow 3, and you think here is your new champion, Big Al, but basically what happens here is the referee sees the replay, reverses the call, and gives the title back to J-Rod, so still champion J-Rod. Basically what happens next is Big Al kicks the ref out the ring because she's pretty pissed off about the whole situation. Okay, next is Mac Davis asking Vito about what happened with Ruffalo last week. He basically says that's family business and Mac needs to stay the fuck out of it. Yabo creeps up behind, grabbing up Sully with a hammer, demanding where his brother is. Vito basically says, look, you'll get your brother on my time. You gotta play by my rules. Yabo agrees. He lets Sally go, and I guess we'll see what happens. Right next to the backstage segment with the Ring Rat and Stephen Flo. Stephen says it's about time you showed up. He tells her that he is Stephen Flo, the rock god, and it should be her privilege to clean his pipes. He pulls her back up and says, not right now. Basically tells her that he ain't seen shit yet, and if she doesn't show him something soon, she's gonna get kicked off the VIP list. All right, the next segment is Willie and Tony backstage. Russo comes in and he basically says they should enjoy their night off, play some cards, have some drinks. He tells the fellas that he is wrong and that he does see the talent in both of these gentlemen, and he made a mistake, and he basically comes in to apologize. Tony basically goes on to tell Russo that he doesn't trust him at all, but he does have respect and to just keep on doing his thing. And it kind of looks like these guys are going to start seeing eye to eye. So I guess we'll see what happens. All right, it then cuts backstage with Mac Davis, and he's basically accusing Facade of cheating to win and just, not being fair. Facade tells him to quit being a clout chaser by trying to get him to come on the post show all the time, stay out of his DMs. Tries to embarrass Facade, and Facade basically tells him, hey, look, next time you try to embarrass me, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat, old man. Okay, in the second match, it's going to be Father Bronson. And Father Bronson comes out. He basically cuts a promo again, preaching the red love and the red roll call. Talks shit to the crowd a little bit. Just pretty much the same basic stuff he's been doing the past week or so since his debut. As you can see, the crowd was not too thrilled with Father Bronson. Father Bronson is then cut off. His opponent comes out, and his opponent is going to be the person who was the next on the red roll call, none other than the American champ, Facade. Now, this match, I do believe, yes, I know for a fact this match was for the title. This was a good back and forth match. Both men got in a lot of good shit. As I said in a previous video, seeing Father Bronson in with somebody who actually can compete is pretty cool. Like I said, both of these men put on a pretty good match. A lot of big time fast moves. Father Bronson with a lot of power moves. Like I said, you can tell this guy's a natural athlete. All the power moves, nice big knees, chops, elbows to the corner, just wearing out the champ. It's kind of rare nowadays seeing somebody put that big of a beat down on Facade. I mean, whether you say he's cheating to win or not, I just say it's shortcuts. I've been saying that. So, but yeah, somebody actually putting up a good fight against the champ. But Facade's not going to let him get all the stuff in. So, as you can see, he kind of bats that kick away there, delivers a nice stiff knee, drops him down. Only gets a 2 count. Facade about to mount some offense here. Nobody home from the corner. Off the middle with a springboard. Nice kick. Now here's where it gets crazy. Mac Davis basically comes out and he says, look, I'm going to finish my interview. Basically because the interview backstage got fucked up when Facade put his hands on Mac Davis. So Mac Davis comes out with an interference, hits him with the microphone. I do believe it's Jeff the ref in the ring there, sees it, calls for the DQ. I guess your winner, Father Bronson, but still champion Facade. All right, next we have a backstage segment with Vince Russo and Choppa City. Russo basically tells Choppa City, look, fellas, you remember when you first came and you were just trying to buy tickets to get into the show, and old Vinny Rude got you to be a part of the show. You guys went ahead and went into business for yourself, and now I'm butting heads with my 50-50 owner, Violent J, and a lot of this is your guys' fault. He tells Ativa that Bruce is basically his puppet master, and he's a very bad influence on him, and he needs to quit just blindly following him. And because of these actions, Vince Russo's going to have to show some tough love to the fellas tonight, and they're going to be in a match against the future endeavors, Shane Mercer and Matt Cross. All right, next we have Mac Davis backstage with Barnabas, and Barnabas is saying that basically this week begins the crackdown to find the supplier, and when he does find the supplier, he's going to make their life a living hell. He goes on to say that Jackson and Abel are going to be locked away in quarantine for the week, basically because he doesn't trust anybody in the locker room, and until they complete rehab, they will not be back until next week. And then they're going to try to find that supplier and again make his life a living hell. All right, in the third match of the evening, it's going to be Future Endeavors versus Choppa City. Now this match is, again, another pretty decent match for the evening. Choppa City is able to get a little bit of offense in the beginning of the match. But, you know, as I've said in the past, man, this team of Future Endeavors is just going to be a force reckoned with. Nice little chop there. Like I said, Choppa City does get some offense. This little double team there. Ativa off the middle. Bruce and Ativa with a nice little double elbow. Goes for that 3 count. Only gets a 2 on Matt Cross. I think this is where Matt Cross is about to turn it around and get that hot tag. Yup. And then here, like I said, it's not going to take long before Shane Mercer comes in and does what Shane Mercer does best and just completely powerhouse everybody and dominate. Holy fuck, look at this man. Yeah, like I said, Shane Mercer's going to come in, just fuck shit up. They do get a little bit of offense on him, but shit gets shut down pretty quickly. Nice little elbow there. They go for that double elbow again, but it was well scouted this time. Big time buckle bomb with the kick added on top of it. And just fucking tosses Ativa like he's nothing. There's this double team finisher. Matt Cross with the moonsault. Ref gets to 1, 2, 3, and here is your winners, future endeavors. All right, then we get backstage. Mac Davis asking Jeeves basically, hey, what's going on with EC3? Why did he just leave and go do a 3-week tour up in Canada? Basically what happens is Jeeves goes to explain, but before he could, Russo shows up and tells them, look, this is exactly what I told you would happen with EC3. He only looks out for himself. He doesn't give a shit about JCW. He goes on to tell Jeeves that since EC3 is not there, that Jeeves is going to have to fill in and take EC3's place for the main event tonight. Facade then shows up. Mac Davis ends up smacking him, and then Facade basically just beats down Mac Davis. It then cuts to Violent J running into the dressing room, and he sees that somebody has beat down the tag champs, Tony and Willie Mack. Violent J ends up running off, screaming, looking for Vince Russo. We then see Yabo backstage waiting on the phone call from Vito. He's very frustrated and he just wants to get his brother back. Okay, and the fourth match of the evening is going to be the surprise opponent for Caleb Conley, the Soul Taker. Of course, taking on Caleb Conley, and Vince Russo is going to do commentary on this one. This match was decent. It started off basically, Caleb Conley runs out of the ring, jumps right back in the ring, basically just try to lure the Soul Taker in so he could get a little quick cheap shot there. Caleb gets a little bit of stuff in, but is quickly overpowered by the Soul Taker. Soul Taker delivers some vicious chops there in the corner. Tosses them in, nice sidewalk slam here. Goes for a 3 count. Only gets that 2. Keeps doing the old little sit-up gimmick. Caleb Conley just keeps trying to pummel him down, but it's not working whatsoever. Soul Taker then pops back up. Nice clothesline there. Ramps his head in corner to corner. I liked this spot too. This was pretty cool. Just bouncing him around the corner to corner there. Dumps him to the outside. Fight goes on to the outside for a little while, but it doesn't stay out there very long. Just enough time basically for Caleb to mount a little bit of offense. Hits him with a bunch of forearms here while he's tied up into the rope. Referee ends up breaking that up. Here delivers the big choke slam there. Vince Russo ends up coming out to try to distract, but then Violent J comes out and he basically tells Russo, let's go to the back, stay the fuck out of the match. But in all that chaos, it gives Caleb the opportunity to smack the Soul Taker with the shovel. Rolls him up 1, 2, 3, and cheap win. But here's your winner, Caleb Conley. All right, and that is backstage with Russo and Violent J arguing. Violent J is pissed off about them, Tony and Willie getting attacked. Russo said, I had nothing to do with that. He's pretty pissed off. He says, look, I don't like being accused of shit that I didn't do. He basically says, warns Violent J, don't make me do something that both of us are going to regret. All right, next we get a promo from Joel Gertner And basically he comes out and cuts a very, very long, drawn out promo and doesn't really say much other than the fact that he talked a bunch of shit to the fans. And in a nutshell, he has a JCW superstar that he's going to start managing, and he's not going to give no hints or clues, talk in riddles, and basically I guess we'll find out soon who his new person is. All right, next we get backstage with Briar Wellington, and he is telling Mac Davis that he found a loophole, and he has got a 2 out of 3 series match for Freya the Slayer, and basically if she wins the 2 out of 3 series, she's going to get a contract at JCW, and that is going to be his loophole back to riches and fame. Okay, so the 5th match of the evening is going to be Freya the Slayer, accompanied by Broke-Ass Briar, and she is going to be facing Giselle Shaw, the return of Giselle Shaw. Now again, this is a 2 out of 3 series. The winner of the series will receive a full-time contract for JCW. Now this was a good match. I know this show was a little tough to watch because of the sound issues, which we will get to. But if you didn't watch the show, go back and watch this match because this was a great match. Both ladies got their stuff in. Phenomenal fucking moves. Just non-stop action. This one, I'm going to go ahead and say is the match of the night for me, at least. Again, I thought this one was really good. Both these ladies put on a great match. And you would think that Freya would just dominate because that's kind of what she's been doing, but at least on the indies, I should say. But Giselle was just, she was able to get some offense in. A nice fucking slam there. Goes for the 3 count, only gets a 2. Nice little spin DDT, I guess you would call that. Hurricane DDT. Freya catches her up. Drops her with a big time backbreaker, I do believe. Yeah, right across the knee there. Tries to go for another power move. Giselle able to slide out. Hits her with the big knee. Gets that 3 count, and here's the winner of the first one, Giselle Shaw. All right, the next segment is a Big Vito coming to the ring with the rest of the Luciano family. Now, before Vito could even get his stuff out, Yabo comes out, or excuse me, Joey Chacon, aka Yabo the Clown. Basically, Vito tells him, look, if you want to see your brother again, you're going to have to play by my rules. We're going to do it on my time. Pretty much the same shit that he told him earlier. This time, he does give Yabo an ultimatum. He says, look, either join the family or you're never going to see your brother again. They end up beating him down. He tells them you got 1 week to choose. They beat Yabo down. They basically end up just pummeling the shit out of him. I think they end up pulling out some handcuffs. They basically handcuff Yabo and end up dragging him off. So yeah, they got Yabo handcuffed, and like I said, they just pretty much beat him all the way to the back. I guess we'll see what happens with him next week. All right, next up is Mac Davis, and he's got a question for J-Rod. He wants to know what is up with Sophia Rose and why she attacked J-Rod. J-Rod basically says that Sophia Rose is just jealous because at Stranglemania, J-Rod secured a new partner. She says that next week in Detroit, she is going to give Sophia Rose the Detroit beatdown when she beats her all over the streets of Detroit. Okay, so tonight's main event is going to be the man servant Jeeves. And I do believe it was his birthday that night, so happy birthday to Jeeves, even though I told him in person over the weekend. Russo comes out, and basically Jeeves tells him, look, we don't really know each other, but you put a hit out on me, and that was bullshit. He says, you're a snake. You always have been a snake. You fucked over Violent J, and then you thought you were doing him a favor by giving him 50% of his company back. Russo ends up cutting him off, and Russo says, basically just talks a bunch of shit about EC3. He says, look, EC3, I told you he thinks only of himself. He's on a tour of Canada right now, and basically he don't give a fuck about you. He left you here by yourself to fend for yourself. So Russo waits till Jeeves' back's turned, hits him with the bat, and basically says, look, I'm the mystery opponent. You're going to have to deal with me tonight. Russo goes on to just beat the fuck out of Jeeves with the bat, just pummels the fuck out of him. It really doesn't take too long though, and what happens next, Jeeves gets rescued by Violent J. Violent J comes out and Russo almost hits him with the bat by accident, but stops himself. Violent J goes on to dare Russo to hit him with the bat. Russo does not do it, but he does give him a nice little sting gesture and push him with the bat, and Russo walks off. And this is the way the week's episode ends. Violent J just pretty pissed off in the ring about how the night has been going. All right, overall, I thought this week's episode, take away the sound issues, I will get to that here in just a second, but overall, the episode was decent, man. There's been better ones. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 this time. Reason for such a harsh rating is because it was very segment heavy, and the first couple matches kind of ended in some bullshit. I do believe the first match was the Big Al and J-Rod for the title. I don't believe in referees reversing the decision right after a match. I know it's happened before in wrestling, but I'm just not a big fan of that, how to end a match. And then I do believe the second match with Father Bronson and Facade, again, another title match that ended in some fuckery, just a DQ. I mean, I know they got to lead on to, storyline further down the road, but I don't know. It was just two title matches in a row that ended up in fuckery, and then the main event ended up not even being a main event. It was just a beatdown for Russo to Jeeves. The one thing that did save it was the Freya the Slayer and Giselle Shaw match. That was a phenomenal match. Top of City and Future Endeavors was also another really good match, so that did save shit. The backstage segments, some of them were pretty good, some of them were long and drawn out. The promo with Joel Gertner was definitely way too long and drawn out for him to say absolutely nothing other than the fact that he is going to be managing somebody new in JCW coming soon. Now let's get into the noise, the sound itself. I know the live stream was pretty tough. I actually usually don't watch Lunacy live, so I'm not too sure how bad it was, but I did go back and watch, obviously, the reload that they pulled up, and that was pretty bad too. That's kind of the reason why this took a little while to come out, because I had to analyze the sound a lot, because it was tough to hear, and then with the sound just being off, it was just kind of difficult. Very important, the gentleman in the crowd with the sign, Ohio is JCW. You're dead wrong, my friend. Detroit is JCW. This is the home. The JCW arena is in Detroit. So, cute sign, but keep fucking wishing, bud. Other than that, man, like I said, it was a decent episode. My apologies for getting this up so late with a full weekend of, well, not a full weekend, but Friday and Saturday JCW shows. I went to the 2 tapings there in Saginaw and Detroit. And then just a holiday weekend and work in general, it was a bit difficult to get this one out up until now. Anyway, hope you guys liked this one. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so. Definitely subscribe. Helps get this fucking video out to other people. I'd love to hear your comments, even though nobody ever does. Just still like to hear them on the fucking match and the show in general. Till next week, I am Kendo. Peace and whoop whoop.